All right, welcome back, guys. So, hopefully, as I've said in every single video, hopefully you've been doing the exercises that I laid out for you. It's important, much like anything else. Without practice, how well are you really going to perform? The old expression, practice makes perfect. Although I do believe perfect practice makes perfect, but nonetheless, you got to get out there. You got to start implementing these things and start working on them and honing those skills and you got to start somewhere, right? Even if you feel like you're like, man, I'm terrible at this. Look, it took me years and years and years and years banging my head against the wall, getting this stuff figured out, man. I can't even tell you how many interactions that I had and just trying to learn. How many times I went out, how many times, like it was all trial and error, So, use my failures for your success. Okay. So here's the deal. We're going to be talking about how to facilitate the perfect date. Okay. But I want to, before we get into that, one thing that I really, really want to make clear is, if you need me to go deeper on any of the stuff that I talked about, I really only kind of scratched the surface. I said before, I'm giving you the fundamentals, I'm giving you the basics, but I'm not giving you everything, and there's a reason for that. Well, the first reason is because these videos would be really long and it would take a lot of my time, and this is a free a free resource for you. Two, I don't want to overwhelm you with a ton of information where you feel like you're drinking from a fire hose. Okay. I just wanted to give you some of the basics so you can just start implementing those. If you need me to go deeper on anything that we talked about, I'm going to have linked up all my contact information. You can reach out to me, ask me, we can talk about it, all that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, you got to reach out to me. You know what I mean? You know, I'm a big believer in being needy. And I'm not needy in dating or in relationships or anything like that, but needy in the sense of, um, look, when I find a resource that has information that's pertinent to me and it's good information and it will help me improve whatever it is that I'm trying to improve on, man, I squeeze every bit of information that I can out of it, you know. And I like to see when other people do that, even though sometimes people feel like that they're being burdensome or a nuisance or overstepping their bounds or something like that. I'm giving you full permission to reach out. I'm giving you full permission to ask me whatever it is, that's specific to you. Okay. So I just want to make that really, really clear. All right. So let's get into this. The perfect date. So what have we talked about thus far? We talked about inner game, being confidence and who you are, what you want, all those types of things, right? All the things going on inside with you. Okay. We talked about cold approaching, just walking up and starting conversations. We talked about online, dating apps and such. We talked about social circle. Okay. So using these pipelines, you're having these quote unquote leads coming in now. Now, are you going to connect with every single girl and date every single woman that no, you're not. I mean, nor do you probably have time to. The way I look at it is like this. It's like, man, do you like if you implemented everything here and you're getting 3 to 5 numbers, we'll say a week, do you even have time to follow up with that? You know what I mean? So I'm really positioning you to have an abundant mindset, to not put up with things and behaviors that don't make sense for you, right? That goes back to what you want, right? So um but nonetheless, you have multiple pipelines now that are accessible to you, bringing in these leads, okay? But what good does that do you? Think of it from a business perspective. Maybe some of you guys have your own companies, maybe some of you guys are in sales. Maybe some of you guys are CEOs. I know it's all walks of life here, but I think anybody can understand this concept. You obviously want leads coming in, but you also want quality leads coming in. Can't just be a bunch of garbage, right? Because now you're just wasting your time. But if you were having quality leads coming in, you have to be able to, those leads need to translate, right? You need to be able to close those leads out. And then you want what? Return customers. It costs a whole lot more money to bring in a new customer versus retaining a customer you already have. If we're looking at this from a business perspective. But I believe that also applies here too. So you want return customers should you want them to return. So it doesn't do you any good to have all these leads and not be able to capitalize on them. All right, so let's get into that a little bit here now. All right, say for instance you've got this girl's number now. We'll just say it really could come from any one of the pipelines that we talked about, but we'll just say it was from cold approach. Okay. Now you got this girl's number, you hit it off, you had a great conversation, she's flirting with you, you're flirting with her, you got a date set up, you're ready to go. Okay. So, we'll just say that you met her on a Saturday night. The date that you have planned isn't until the next Friday. That's almost a week between seeing each other. All right. How are you going to bridge those two times? Right. So, unfortunately, what most guys do is, they do one of two things. They don't correspond at all, or they correspond way too much. All right. There's a middle ground here. All right. So, what I like to do is I don't want to get bogged down with a bunch of conversation between meeting her and meeting up again. Okay. Conversation, yes, but I don't want to get bogged down into big, depthy, a running dialogue over the course of days. I believe that, you think that you're building some connection there, and you can build a little bit. Don't get me wrong, but it's kind of like, once you already have the sale, once you already struck oil, stop digging, So you've already got the date set up, but you still want to, minimize the chance of her flaking or ghosting or whatever, right? You want it to happen. And so having some conversation between those 2 days, that 6-day span is important. All right. So, I met her Saturday night. I'm probably going to text her Sunday at some point, be like, hey, hope you made it home safe. That was a lot of fun. I'm really glad we had the opportunity to meet. But that was a good time. And then she's probably going to respond, via, I'm talking about this via text, by the way. She's probably going to respond, back like, oh yeah, that was so much fun, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to leave it at that. If she's trying to prolong the conversation, I'm going to scale it back. And I'm going to say like, hey, listen, I'm really looking forward to talking to you and getting to know you a little bit better. But, I'm about to be going to the gym here, or I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z, or I got something up, so I'm going to be radio silent, like just letting her know, like, I'm busy. Right. And so, and the reason for that is because, and I think I talked about this in an earlier video, but you're navigating a minefield. The more you talk, the more of an opportunity that there is that you're going to say something that she's going to take the wrong way or something. And now the date implodes, right? So I want less is more. Okay. So, Sunday I'm going to text her that. Monday I'm probably not going to text her anything. If she texts me, like if she says, hey, how's your day been, or something like that, like, oh, yeah, it was pretty good. How was your day? Oh, it was good. Went to work. I made lasagna for dinner, whatever. And then I'm gonna be like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm about to, and again, I'm using some excuse of I'm doing something else. Like, hey, I'm about to meet up with some friends, or whatever the case is. And to kind of quell that conversation. But Monday, I'm not going to text her anything. She texts me, I have a little conversation, but that's it. All right. Tuesday, I'm going to now this is called callback humor. All right. So say in your initial interaction, you had some type of inside joke going, or you gave her a silly nickname or something like that. We'll just say, for instance, you have an inside joke going on about, could be anything, but we'll just say it's breakfast cereal. All right. So I'm going to go find some funny meme relating to what we were talking about. And then I'm going to text her that and be like, hey, I saw this today. I know you would find this funny. You got a great sense of humor. Bam. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do. And then she's probably gonna respond back, LOL, oh my God, that's so funny. And how's your day been? And then again, I'm gonna quell that conversation as much as I can. All right. So that's Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm not gonna text her anything. Thursday, I'm gonna hit her up again, but it's gonna be a little more depthy, but not exceptionally depthy. I might say something like, hey, have you ever been to that place that we're going to before? Just want to let you know, maybe she has, maybe she hasn't, but we're going to talk about the place a little bit and, things like that. And, just have a little bit of conversation. Like I said, a tad more depthy, but not overdoing it. Friday, I'm going to text her 3 or 4 hours before, say you're supposed to meet up at 7 o'clock. All right. I'm going to text her at like 3 or 4 o'clock. And I'm going to say something like, hey, wear something cute tonight so we match, and it's just kind of a funny little line that I like to use because it implies, I'm expecting you to be there. Okay. The mistake that a lot of guys make is like, hey, are we still on for tonight? Hey, are we still going out? And what are you communicating when you say that? You're used to women flaking and ghosting on you. So why should she show up? Why should she be the the lovable, the lucky girl that gets to hang out with the lovable loser? Not that you're a loser if a girl flakes on you, but I'm just saying from her perspective. So I'm not going to ask her that. I'm just going to say, hey, wear something cute tonight so we match. Now she knows I'm planning on being there. Now, and she like, oh, okay, haha, that's funny. Yeah, I'm going to be wearing something cute. If I don't hear anything from her at all, like nothing, then my hunch is that she's not going to be there, but I'm still going to go anyway. Okay. But that's a whole other ball of wax. I'm not going to be getting into that now. But yeah, so assuming, she gets back, everything's on, everything's a go. All right, here's the deal. All right, let's talk about the date itself. All right, we bridged the gap. I'm a big advocate, and now I understand this, okay, because I can already hear what some of you are probably thinking. All right, if it's feasible for you, and you live in a big enough area, college town at least, there's going to be an area of town where there's going to be multiple venues for you to go to. Okay. So the mistake that a lot of guys make is let's go, we'll go to this place for dinner, and it's like, that's fine. It's not that that can't work, but I want her to be excited about not only hanging, having the date, but what we're actually doing. Okay. And so if I've got something really cool planned or something like that, that makes it all that much better. But on top of that, what you want to do is now you don't have to tell her all these places that you got laid out. I recommend 3 places. If you can do more, fine. You know what I mean? But 3 places. The initial place where you're supposed to meet and do your thing, okay, fine, great. That's what's on the docket. But, after that, oh, hey, you know what, my buddy, he runs this place over here. Let's, it's walking distance. By the way, all three of these places should be walking distance. And that's why I was saying, if you live in an area that has, a foot trafficy downtown-ish type of area where it has several venues, that's what you want. Okay. So, you know, suggest going from this place to that place, hanging out at the next place for a while, that place to this other place, And what are you doing by doing that? You're taking her on an adventure. It's adventurous and spontaneous being around you. And those are attractive qualities, man. So by displaying that, it gives you a lot of advantage there. All right. And on top of that, here's the other part of it. Have you ever been in a position where, you just met somebody, okay, and you're like, man, I feel like I've known that person all my life, like that's the feeling that you want going out of this, because basically what you're doing is you're truncating 3 dates into 1 date, okay, and all of those different venues are going to have different energies, different atmospheres. Okay. When I say energies, I don't mean like woo woo type of energy. What I mean is, think about it like this. Over here, you got this banging Las Vegas style nightclub. Okay. And over here, you got a library. You could not tell me that those two places had the same energy. They don't. Neither one of them is good nor bad. Okay. They just have their own separate energies. So when you go through all these different energies, 3 different places, each of them different energy, that ramps up the feeling because it's more experience packed into one evening as opposed to it being spread out over the course of a month or a couple of weeks or whatever the time frames look like. You know what I mean? So you're truncating this into one night, but it really seems like you've done a lot more, and you have done more, and by the way, she's not used to that. She's used to a guy, like, hey, like, let's go to this bar and have drinks and that's it, or let's go have dinner and that's that, and like, yeah, okay, fine, but it's not exciting, the event in and of itself, so that's why I advocate that so heavily. Now, when you show up, okay, now this is something that I highly, highly recommend. Okay. Get there 20 minutes to a half hour early. So if the date is at 7 and she's likely probably going to be running late, 10, 15 minutes, late. What you're doing is this. You want to be able to kind of, if possible, this isn't always possible, but if you can, you want to be able to pick your spot at where you're going to be sitting. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is this: start talking to the bartender, if there is one. Start, befriending the server, having good conversations with them. The people around you, start chatting them up, things like that. Start having good conversation with them. Then here's why: because when she gets there, you have already established that you are a social person, which is a good look, that's an attractive quality. 2, she doesn't know that you didn't know them until you walked in. From her vantage point, these are people you already know. You know what I mean? And it's like, you're the man about town, so it displays that. Also, if she doesn't show, okay, now what you can do is it's not a waste of an evening, because you're already there. You've already allocated the time. You've already started talking to people. They don't know that you're there for a date and you just got stood up. They don't know that unless you tell them, which I don't advise. Okay. But what you can do is start, using that conversations that you're already having and start having a good time with your night and meeting new people. And so you're kind of taking it full circle back to, just talking, cold approaching and talking to people and things like that. So that's what I recommend as far as planning and running that perfect date. Okay. So to summarize everything, look, now by the way, actually, let me take a step back. You're not going to be able to, like, there's no exercise that I can give you to like, all right, go out and have 10 perfect dates this week. Like, there's no way I can do that. But what I can say is start becoming kind of think of yourself as the virtual mayor of your town or the virtual chamber of commerce. Start plotting out what are cool spots and that are highly recommended. You're never at a loss for something going on. Know your town, man. Know when karaoke night is going on over at this place. Know when trivia night is going on over at this place. Know when they got this DJ playing at this place, and like, know those things. And you have a cheat sheet literally in your pocket, your phone. Know what's happening in your town, in your area, and that way you're never at a loss. If something pops up, like, oh, I wish like, I can go out with you tonight if there's something cool to do. I got you. There is something cool to do. They're doing karaoke over here. What's your favorite karaoke song to do? Oh, that. Oh, I got you beat. I do that. Like, so again, never at a loss of things to do. Okay. So that would be the exercise. If you don't know your town already, know your town. Know what the cool places to be are, the fun places, the chill places, all that kind of thing. So you can start planning these things out. All right. That being said, do the exercises that I gave you throughout the course of this mini program. All right. It's going to do you a world of good. Okay. Even if you're like, man, like, I don't want to go and do all that stuff. Like, I mean, at least know who you are and know what you want, if nothing else. Okay. But I would recommend, look, if this is a pain point in your life and this is a struggle in your life, these are things that are going to be beneficial for you. And as long as you do them the way that I talked about, it will be successful for you. Now, success is measured in a bunch of different ways. But if you're not going on dates now and you got a date going on every month, you're 12 times better than you were when you started. Now, if you do that for a year. So look, these are all things that are going to help you. And again, I'm here to help you. So if you need more insight, you got questions, whatever, reach out to me. So listen, guys, get out there and kill it, man. Get out there and start, having a more textured life, a more fun life. Document that life and bring people into it. Okay. So it's been a pleasure, been a good time, and hope to be talking to you guys soon.